Just come to Cloud Hands, number 4 of the Hypno Pilates 9-form Qigong sequence. Cloud Hands, a few different versions of it, going with the Pilates and hypnotherapy breathing. So, going to zip up pelvic floor, scoop out your abdominals. Again, that's going to help them lower lobes of lungs. You're going to breathe into them lower lobes of lungs naturally by zipping up pelvic floor and scooping out your abdominals. Breathing through the nose as you zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals, and exhale through pursed lips for as long as you like, not necessarily linked to motion. Okay, and you'll go back and just demonstrate that straight away. There's lots of modifications with it, or there's different sort of levels. You can partially empty one foot in a sort of cat stance, which I'll go and demonstrate in a minute, or you can bring the leg up. Okay, and again, it's all about these sort of micro movements. It's got the Cloud Hands, and we're sort of moving here and back as if we're turning off a skewer. But what you're doing, aiming to do with these, is see how small you get with these motions. So in the end, they get so small, these motions, it's hard to see if you're moving or not. So you're mimicking these little shakes of everyday life. That's what the pelvic floor and the course it's going to stabilise against. Okay, so I'm going to go back and demonstrate that, and it makes sense. Start with the breath. Again, zip up pelvic floor, scoop out your abdominals. Breathing through the nose, exhaling through pursed lips. We're going to link that to motion. So from here, I'm going to breathe in and just partially empty one foot and exhale one side, empty one side, then breathe into here and exhale. Let's start with a lower version first. So it's a and you're exhaling out and you're breathing in there. Keep your shoulders down, lengthen up for the crown, turn off that skewer. You're actually breathing as you come round with this one, and you're exhaling for as long as you like. Again, it sounds like this. Shoulders down as you breathe in, then exhale this way. Again, if you want, you can just lift the foot off the floor with micro motions, tiny motions. So it's a So I'm going to do that again, and it's just seeing how small can make these motions. And you breathe in here, all in one. Massage that beach ball, you turn round this way, and then you go, as you gather in against these micro movements, zip up and hollow, lengthen up through the crown. Again, shoulders over hips, head over shoulders. Then you breathe in. One motion, and it's maybe seeing how small you get the motions. If you want to make this harder to stabilise on the one leg, then you just lift up the here. So again, we do that all in one. It's breathing in, and we work with these. So exhale for as long as you like, and we work with these little rotational movements, and just seeing how small you can make these while exhaling. So I do that with the breath, so you can hear it. So it's again, did the first level, or you can exhale from here. Then you breathe in, all in one. Come up the other side and exhale. It's and then you breathe in, come the other way. You actually massage this beach ball. Again, big motions. It's a little bit harder for the shoulders to stabilise. Smaller motions will be easier. And it's as you breathe in, come up with that foot. Then it's here, empty the foot. If it's low, that's fine, near the floor, or in a cat stance here, that's fine. You can do it here, or slightly higher, or here, or even higher. And then you exhale and get smaller and smaller and smaller, just like that bucket of water swishing from side to side. You stop swishing it, and these movements are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So in the end, you're sort of literally so small, so fine with these motions once you get practicing it, that it's like these little shakes, these micro movements of everyday life that the body's constantly stabilising against. So from here, I'd have breathed into here, and we exhale. And you go in one. All the way up with that leg in one. So it's from here, it's all in one. And it gets so small, these motions, so it's hard to see if you're moving. And as you're doing this, you're gathering in and zipping up and hollowing, taking the navel towards the spine, just turning off that skewer, just getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller the motions. See how small you can get them. You're aiming to sort of get them a millimetre or even smaller. That's what we're aiming to mimic, these little micro moves. Work with an exhale. You're challenging something called what we call the transverse plane of the body. All the sockets and the joints are moving in this transverse plane, tiny little micro movements, which these little shakes, and this rotational plane, this transverse plane of the body, is what the body works in constantly. There's all these little micro movements, and again, that's a transverse plane we're working. So anything sort of rotational where we're overemphasizing it is gonna be very functional in that way in stability. Because we're constantly, all the joints are naturally sort of in this rotational transverse plane in these micro moves all day long. So we're gathering against that, zipping up and hollowing. You can do staccato breath of it, make it a little bit harder. It does become a bit harder though, slightly harder version, so exactly the same. And then we get loads of in and out breaths, so it's and then the last one's just an exhale, and you breathe in. To prepare, same deal, it's and last one, make a nice elongated exhale. Again, breathing to prepare, all in one motion. And again, it's exhale, inhale. Do about 5, then the last one, exhale for as long as you like, or less if you like, if you can't manage the breath. So it's and it's if it's down here lower in a cat stance, it'll be exactly the same, or emptying at the end, or a little bit higher, depends where you want it, exploiting that range, speed and tempo here. So again, if it's a little bit harder leg, it'll be here. Again, high is harder, low is easier. If the foot's on the ground, touching down every now and then that's fine. Just modify that range, speed and tempo to adapt it to you, make it unique to you, to make it as easy or as hard as you like. Again, see how small you get the motions. Again, if you're doing that staccato breath, again, it's exhale, inhale. Again, I say 5 or less. If your lung capacity can't handle that, could be 4, 3 or less. But just make sure you get the last bit of out breath, that elongated out breath. Okay. Otherwise, it's just breathing in, coming to here, all the way up, and exhaling for as long as you like as you do these motions. Okay, rocking motions, gathering against the instability, navel towards the spine. Even start with a breathing in all these. Zip up, scoop out your abdominals. You'll feel that coming in these lower lobes of lungs. And yeah, just really root yourself in that leg, that rooted leg. Even if you're in a cat stance, partially empty foot here, this back leg will be rooted in, or the legs up higher. Imagine them roots just growing up and nourishing that grounded leg as you empty the other leg. Okay, lengthen out from big toe, little toe. Even imagine there's a tripod from big toe to little toe to the centre of your heel, just rooting that rooted leg in. Gathering against that instability, navel towards the spine. Lovely. Lengthen up for the crown. Shoulders over hips, head over shoulders. Just elongate the out breath. And again, if you're doing that staccato breath, see how small you can get with emotions, as with all of it. Then empty out at the end. Lovely. Few variations. See what suits you. Lovely. That was number 4 of the Hypno Pilates 9-form Qigong sequence. Number 5 is the Lotus Leg Kick. Lovely. Bang.